Hello students and viewers. Welcome back to my channel AV Samarpan, a journey of life science. Myself Vikash. In this video, we shall start and discuss a chapter, The Living World of Class 11th. In this chapter, we shall discuss about the characteristics of living beings. Oh, it's really living beings again. We have studied about living beings in class 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, also in class 10, and again in class 11th, living beings. It's really amazing, na? But biology is the science of living beings, that means life. So the first question is life. There is no perfect definition of life and living beings, but on the basis of some characters, it can be defined. As this time, we define life as it is a cell-based, self-regulated, self-regulated, unique, complex organization of the molecules, which expresses themselves by the chemical reactions which goes continuously and represent and leads to growth, development, maintenance, adaptation, reproduction. The objects which have these characteristics of life are called living organisms. So, in this chapter, we shall discuss about the different characteristics of living organisms separately. Because not a single characteristic is able to define the life or living beings. So that the first one character is cellular structure. It is the defining character of living beings. We know organism, either unicellular or multicellular, is made up of cells. Cell contains a living matter that is called protoplasm. We know the composition of protoplasm, but this time we are not able to create protoplasm artificially, so that it is the defining property of living organism. Virus have no cellular structure and protoplasm, so that it is not under the group of living creature. Our next one is metabolism. Different chemical reactions continuously goes in the body of living organism. The sum total of the chemical reactions which occur in the body of living organism is known as metabolism. Metabolism is divided in two types. The types of metabolism. The first one is anabolism, and the second one is catabolism. Now, let's come to know about the anabolism. Anabolism is the constructive or formative reactions. It is constructive reactions in which something is formed and energy is saved as potential energy. So the example of anabolism, as in our body always this process goes on, or also in other organism like that of plant it goes on. The best example of anabolism is the photosynthesis. In this reaction, plus 12H2, it forms in the presence of sunlight, in the presence of chlorophyll, or it happens in chlorophyll containing cells. It forms glucose. Okay, so the major thing is that glucose is formed. This is anabolism because glucose is formed and it is stored in body in the form of energy, but in the plant body it is stored in the form of starch, so that plus means it is converted enzyme and other materials, and then it is converted into starch. Plus this is prepared in the body and it is stored as potential energy. In the same way, protein is formed by the combination of amino acids. In the same way, lipid is formed by the combination of fatty acids and alcohol. These are the examples of anabolism. So it is known as constructive. The other one is destructive. Let's come to know about that. That means catabolism. In case of catabolism, it is also called destructive or broken phase or reaction. The respiration is the example of that, in which it is converted into so in this phase energy is liberated and potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. So this represents the catabolism. And in a living organism, as it is the defining property of living things, no non-living things represent that. And it occurs in the body of living organism continuously as anabolism and catabolism, and both known as metabolism. So the next one is growth. Okay, so growth is also a character of living organism, multicellular organism or unicellular organism represent the growth. Multicellular organism divide the cells and grows continuously. But if we talk about the growth in case of plant, it grows continuously throughout the life as it has the region of meristematic part in which division goes continuously. But in case of animals like that of human beings, cell divides to replace the worn out cells only, and after a stage it will not grow, it will divides only to replace the worn out cells. In case of a living organism, the growth occurs by the division of cells, and it is the adding or joining the cells internally that is called intersubsection. It is called intersubsection. That means from the inside of the body cells grows and join to helps in the growth. Some non-living objects also represents the growth as mountain, as stones, as crystals. But this growth is because of the addition of same material from the outside. So this is different from the living creature. Now the next one is reproduction. This is the special characteristics of living organism, and reproduction is the formation of new organism of the same kind from the parent. As reproduction is important for the growth of population, but it is not a life process. As we have studied in class 10th, it is not a life process because it is not important for the survival of life. A person can survive throughout the life without reproduction. For example, a mule is not able to produce or reproduce, but they can survive. So reproduction is of asexual or sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So in the case of asexual reproduction, as we know, or related to without, this reproduction occurs without the sex, that means without the formation and fusion of gametes. It is uniparental. One parent is involved and helps in the development of new organism. But in case of sexual reproduction, both parents are involved and it represents the formation and fusion of gametes. That form zygote and then development takes place. So reproduction is a defining property. So the next one is consciousness. What is the meaning of it? all the living organisms, either it is primitive or more developed human beings, response to the external stimuli. For any kind of stimuli, they respond. And the stimuli receives by the sense organs in case of human beings, like that of eyes, like that of ear. But plant have not these type of special sense organ and perform the consciousness, because it is the nature of protoplasm, as it is called irritability. This is the nature of protoplasm to respond the external stimuli. And if we talk about the consciousness, which type of consciousness is represented by the plant? In case of plant, it respond to the light, it respond to the water, it responds to the duration of temperature. Also it responds the gravity. So plants also represents consciousness, and human beings and other animals also responds to external stimuli. The next one is organization. It is also important. This is consciousness is the defining property. As there is a problem of light, as I think, so I shall make a new video again, but please continue this video. The next one is organization. Organization, as in case of organism, cells combine to form tissue, tissue combine to form organ, organ combine to form organ, system, and then organism, so that it is also characteristics. The next one is homeostasis. Homeostasis is also a very special characteristics of living organism, as homeostasis means a favorable condition is maintained by the organism, which is important for the continuing of the process which goes inside the body. That means maintenance of the internal environment for the continuing of the process is known as homeostasis. So that homeostasis is not affected or not much affected by the external factors. It is completely different. For the next topic, I want to say something to you. You may get different or many copyrights of my channel, but the actual channel is AV's Samarpan, a journey of life science. So please watch this channel and be with me. So the next one is lifespan. What is the meaning of lifespan? Lifespan is the duration from the birth to the death. The different living organisms have a different lifespan. As we know, the average lifespan of a human being is around 65 to 70. In the same way, it is different in a different organism. The next last one is death. It is the property of a living organism, and it represents the stoppage of the life process. When it stops, the whole body stops the works. So in the next video, as we have discussed about the characteristics of living organism, which we have discussed in previous classes also. So in next videos we shall discuss about the next topics of this chapter, and I hope my students and viewers, I think you got the knowledge from this video. So keep watch and don't forget to share, like and subscribe this channel. Thanks a lot.